Hello, this is Steven. Today we are going to be playing what is the pinnacle of nerdy games. This is Victoria 2. This is a grand strategy game, a nation simulator, running through the 1800s until the start of, until a little post World War I, just before World War II. So, as a first video for this, we're going to keep it a little simple. We are actually going to play as a released nation. We are going to play as Iceland. Now, in order to do that, we have to start playing as Denmark. We will go to Politics, Release Nations, and we will release Iceland. Now, we were going to play as Iceland, and there we go. Let's take a look at our beautiful new nation. Alright, so let's get started, shall we? The game right now is paused, so we're going to go through what we have and what we need. We don't have anything set up yet for factories. We're not at that point. We can take a look at our budget. I think we have to get the game running a little bit before we do that. There we go. There's our production. Not much, just fish. Our budget, we're coming in the green, which is good. Let's lower tariffs a little. Actually, we should pump education up, raise tariffs, and administration, raise tariffs a bit. That way, we'll have some money, but we'll be able to teach our people to read, which is actually fairly important. It helps the speed of technology. Now, we are a tiny, tiny little nation. There's not much we can do, but let's take a look to see what we can do. And admin efficiency is really good. That helps money come in. Tax efficiency is good. Culture, prestige gain, education efficiency. I think positivism is what we need to research. The education efficiency is really good, especially for a nation like this that's so small. It's easy to get a high literacy and therefore a high research rate. So let's start some social thought. Okay. Now, we have some political reforms. So let's take a look at what we can do. Right now, we can see the status of our country. There's a trinket minimum wage, 10-hour workdays, no safety regulations, trinket unemployment, low pensions, trinket healthcare, and no school system. We're actually fairly, I'd say, advanced as far as what we're offering our people, with the exception of the school system. And we're going to have to fix that as soon as we can. Now, right now we have a few options over here, because we are so liberal right now in our house. In the upper house, I should say. And forgive me, but I am not going to try to pronounce these names. So, let's take a look. And we have the upper house, which is our house. This is who gets the vote. We have the right to vote up there. So it's a ruling party only, appointed state, 2 per state is what we have right now. That each of our states has 2 votes. So it's an equal across. We can increase it to vote by population. That increases immigrants. But not many people want that. But the upper house will vote yes on it. We have vote franchise. We can allow everyone to vote. Right now it's weighted universal. It means everyone can, but as rich white men, they get more. But universal, everyone can. Now the voting system, let's see, first to the post, whoever has the most. Jefferson is the highest average. And proportional representation is the percentage of votes that groups of the candidates obtain in an election equals the percentage of seats they receive. I actually prefer the first past the post method. I prefer straight popular vote. That's just me. Political parties, we have non-secret ballots right now. Now you know who they vote for. So it's the 2 I'm looking for is either secret ballots or universal voting. I'm actually going to say universal voting first, then secret ballots. Secret ballots are important, so let's do that. Once we have a little more liberal on the upper house, then we can do that. So let's take a look at the party we have right now. We can actually choose between them. So, right now, we are the Liberal Party, which is protectionism, a laissez-faire economy. So not really a fan of that. I'm more a fan of... I can't think of the term right now. Regulation. I'm a fan of regulation. Moralism. So it is church. Full citizenship. That everyone gets full citizenship. And very jingoistic. Which, if you don't know, it really means... Well, the United States is very jingoistic. United States number one, everyone else is less than us. Police the world, that's jingoistic. It's jingoism. As opposed to the Conservative Party, that I'm not pronouncing. It's free trade, laissez-faire. Free trade is good. Laissez-faire, I'm still not a fan of it. Pluralism. State religion. It's not the best, but it's better than what we have now. But in the time period, it fits. Limited citizenship, I'm not a fan of. And pro-military. Pro-military is good. That means we support the troops, but we're not going to go out and fight war. It's very Canada feeling. Right now, let's stay like that. Let's see. Okay. That is just a decision where if we decide to go militaristic and take over all of Scandinavia, we can form Scandinavia as a nation. But we're not going to do that. We have everything set up. We only have one thing to do, one national focus. We have a few options. I think the ideal thing first is going to be clergymen. You might think, why clergymen? Clergymen are the ones that teach how to read and write. Now, let's take a look at the world while this runs, because at the moment, we're not going to have anything happening with us for a little while. Right now, we have 3 wars. The Ottoman Restoration of Tripoli, between the Ottoman Empire and Tripoli. 4 wars. Texas War of Independence, between Mexico and Texas. The political reforms enacted in the past few years have led to a situation where the absolutism of our monarchy can now be legitimately called into question. No longer is the king free to dictate the course of his nation to his own musings, but instead has to accept several constitutional terms, or hems and restrictions on his exercise of power. For these reasons, our government form is no longer most accurately described as an absolute monarchy. We are now a limited constitutionalism, so our government type is now Prussian constitutionalism. For those who are not familiar with the term Prussian, Prussia is, well, this is Prussia. Right here, with its capital is Berlin. It was one of the major unifying forces that unified Germany before World War I. So we might be seeing that happen in this game. We might not. Austria likes to eat them up. Bavaria likes to become a major power, times 2. Now, as this runs, we'll take a look at the rest of the world. First, let's decrease the money we're paying our soldiers. We don't have any wars going on. We don't have to pay them a lot. So, we have the German states here. The remnants of the Holy Roman Empire. We have Denmark, Sweden, Austria, Bavaria. Then we have the Ottomans here. Sweeping reforms of our party system have been enacted in the past few years. Turned from an absolute monarchy to a constitutional monarchy. The monarchy now serving as a symbolic head of state no longer has the power to personally control and determine the fate of the nation, but is instead forced to accept the mitigating influence of pluralism and limited democracy. Long live the king, and we have a His Majesty's government. This is very World War II England, current England, where you have the figureheads, but it is clearly not directly controlled by them. Okay. Let's take a look back at the wars. That's what we were looking at. Texas War of Independence has changed. See? The United States was able to protect Texas. The moment Mexico actually took a step into the Texas territory and won a fight or took some land, it gave the United States call to declare war, which is what we have going on here. And we can watch. Normally, the United States will come in, sweep Mexico, and take Texas. and then offer its statehood. Leave a newspaper. Let's take a look. Mexico expands into Denver. The Second Great Awakening in the U.S. Religious zeal. L'Arc de Triomphe. A female form. Trade summit European tariffs. The fears of Saxe-Coburg Gotha. Brazil goes to war with Paraguay. And Bolivia and Argentina march to war. Let's take a look at that. Bolivia and Argentina. That's an interesting war. And Brazil and Colombia. Ooh, that's an interesting one. Brazil's going to have a hard time because, let me see if I can show you an infrastructure. Let me find it. Well, as you can see, this is, well, the Amazon. It's traversable, but it's extremely difficult to get infrastructure there, and it's not the easiest place to march troops through. So while Brazil's majority population is along the coastline of around here, they have to go through the Amazon rainforest to get to Colombia. So unless you're using a fleet, that might be a little difficult. Let's see what other wars we have going on. That's Colombian Amazon. We are looking at that. That is Brazil and Chile. We have Ottomans in Egypt. Looks like the War of Independence is going in America's side. Alright. Let's take a look. Yes, it is clear that Mexico is losing. Oh, look at that. Now that is something of interest. Oh! It seems that Texas has accepted the terms of surrender from Mexico, and it's been incorporated into Mexico, though the United States is still at war with them with the goal of liberating Texas. Well, let's give it a fighting go, U.S. Let's take a look at what we have going in the world. So we have Russian North America, which is Russian Alaska, British Canada, the U.S. and Mexico. You have United States of Central America, Spanish Cuba, Haiti. You have the coronation of Queen Victoria. Good for the British. You have the Caribbean islands, which are mostly French, English, and some Spanish, and Netherlands. You have South America, which is more or less how it is now. Few exceptions. You have British Guiana, Dutch Guiana, and French Guiana. Over here we have Africa, which is uncolonized for now, with the exception of, well, Portugal. Let's see. We have an issue. Working less or less working? Working less or less work? While our labor conditions are generally considered to be among the most generous in the world, I still cannot see that it is unproductive mentality. I still cannot see that an unproductive mentality is something to be proud of. The only reasonable step is to undo some of these reforms. The debate in Parliament have, for the past week or so, been focused almost exclusively on our work hour limits. Conservatives are arguing that the time to move forward with a more business-friendly policy is now. So let's see. We can extend the work hour. That's not going to make people happy. Not really sure about that. The rich get a little worried about our policies are entirely false. By taking entirely false, the rich get a little militant, but we get an 8-hour workday, which I wholly support. We're going to have an 8-hour workday. And we have finished positivism, so let's take a look at fundamentalism. Or functionalism, I should say, in more social thought. We can take a look. We do not have anywhere near enough clergy, so we will work on that, and they will continue to grow over there. Queen Victoria fears of Japan. They should be worried about Japan. Let's see. Patents, pit coal. Okay. This is Africa. You had a little colonization over here. It's a little too wild for them to go any further in the coast. You have the major African powers, so to speak. In the north, you have Morocco, Algeria, Tunisia, the Ottoman Empire, and Egypt, as well as France, holding the North Isle there. Then in the south, you have Oman's territory there, but you have Ethiopia, Sokoto, then Transvaal, Orange, Zulu, and British South Africa. Orange being Dutch. And Madagascar. In the Middle East, we have, again, the Ottoman Empire, Egypt, Persia, Najd, Hijaz, Yemen, Oman, and Abu Dhabi. Then we have Russia, and in Near East, we have Kiev, Kokland, Bukhara, Afghanistan, Kalat, Makran, Sindhi, Punjab, and then all of British India. Britain is doing its thing in India. Then Nepal, Tibet, which is a satellite nation of China. Oh, this is a few things. Let's take a look at what happened. Let's see, elections of Iceland are starting. Okay, and functionalism has been complete. Okay, so we cannot go to biologism. So let's take a look at where we're going to go. We don't need more national focuses since we only have one territory, so we don't need political thought. We can do psychology, which will increase reinforcement and regiment experience. Philosophy, which gives us more research points. Or aesthetics, which increases our prestige, which is fairly important. At the moment, we have 0 prestige. I'm going to go with idealism because researching more research points is never a bad thing. Main relations with Prussia. Okay. Let's see. Nothing overly interesting here. Dye prices keep going up. You can see that we have trade. You can see all of the prices in the stock market. It is a little overwhelming. Here we go with the elections. Love and war. War policy debate in local election. Opponents and proponents of the military and armed forces taking sides in the coming election. Opponents argue that increased tension in the world and arms race between the great powers are reason enough to maintain a strong Icelandic military. Others are less convinced, and the military expenses are excess part of the government. Now here we have a choice. This will sort of lead to which party is going to be taking parliament. And you can see what each one stands for. Now, if there's enough, new parties can and will form. We only have 2 political parties right now. As you can see how the voters are thinking, and we basically control it, and we can go by what the voters say. The majority of them are pro-military. And I think we can go with pro-military. It'll make the anti-military a little mad, but they're not as big of a vote. And clearly, as we've seen, we are a popular vote country. Now we have Southeast Asia. We have Burma, Dai which is Vietnam. We have Laos, Prabang. Let's see. Siam, Cambodia, more England. Johor, Atesh. Then we have the Netherlands colonies. We have Brunei. We have Spanish Philippines, and then we have British Australia and parts of New Zealand colonized. And let's take a look at who produces what and where. I'm not going to read through everything now, but just take a look at what it does, which will basically tell me. Planned economy, inherent laissez-faire. Give me more of a planned economy, and less. It's just basically a growing rate of planned economy. A planned economy is a very communist train of thought. It means that we basically set it up ahead of time, set up what's going to happen where. It's very anti-laissez-faire. So I have to choose something. I don't want the laissez-faire to get militant, even though no one likes it. So let's get it really pushed for it, since it's not going to make anyone really upset. As you can see, I am hemorrhaging money. Not a lot, but I am. Let's see. Oh, take a look at that in a moment. That's important. Okay. Again, love and war. Sometimes they pop up again. Let's go with pro-military a second time. USA. Dred Scott versus Sanford. Dred Scott, having been a slave, remains a slave. That's a wonderful thing, isn't it, people? Okay. Again, pro-military. They will pop up again and again and again. The finished, the ruling party is the Conservative and Reactionary Party. Alright. Let's take a look at more of Asia. Now we have the Russian Empire stretching all the way across here into what was the Qin territory for a long time. And then we have the Chinese Empire. Now this is not one nation. These are fractured nations which are allied and satellites and substates. And you have Xinjiang, you have Qinghai, you have Mongolia, you have Manchuria, the Chinese Empire itself, which is the seat of the empire. You have Yunnan, Guangxi, and then Tibet. Then you have Korea and Japan, which are considered to be primitive nations still. So that is that, and let's take a look over here. Oh, we finished idealism. Let's pause. And we cannot get empiricism. So let's take a look at elsewhere what we can get. Medicine is supply limits. Experimental railroad is a railroad. It's good. It helps industry. Clean coal, mechanical production, and the practical steam engine. See, my issue with the military is I'm a small nation. If anyone comes knocking on my door, being this close to Europe, me having a semblance of a military, or a semblance of an army, or a navy is not going to help me a lot. I'm still going to get slaughtered. So I'd rather play peaceful and not worry about that right now. I can do it later, but for right now, it's not something I'm going to worry about. Let's take a look at the stock exchange and get some more tax efficiency. So it does seem that there is peace between the U.S. and Mexico. The United States is allied with Liberia, and the USCA, Mexico, is allied with Colombia. It does seem that the U.S. lost the war, and Texas is controlled by Mexico. This is a fun turn of events, isn't it? Alright. You will see at some point that there will be technology that will help them get into Africa, and it will blow up. Right now, what I am waiting for is the Ottoman Empire to either grow or collapse in on itself, and I'm waiting for some sort of war of succession to happen in the German states. See, right now, if we have any wars, no wars. The great powers right now are the UK, France, Russia, Prussia, the USA, Austria, Ottoman Empire, and Spain. Let's see how that stays. Now, let's see. Let me talk to some nations. Let's get some of that going. I need a few allies. So let's talk to the United Kingdom. I'm going to increase relations with the United Kingdom. And just to make it safe, I'm going to increase relations with France as well. I don't need any of those guys turning their eye towards me. Okay, let's increase ad hoc money bill printing for some admin efficiency. Okay, this is something that happens. You have major discoveries. Now, when you take a look at technology, you'll see over here, these are possible inventions that can happen. And you have a chance every month. As you can see over there, once the month gets done, it'll autosave. Well, it autosaves at the end of the year. But on every month, you have a chance to research these. These inventions give little benefits. These are the inventions that I have available. These are the inventions that will become available. As you can see, some of them don't have anything. As you get further down, you can see some a little more nasty ones, such as military directionism can allow for gas attacks. Things of that nature. A little nasty, and it really can change the tide of battle, and it really will. You will see that when it happens. And this is what this is. Proto-existentialism. Share prestige. So we're climbing the prestige ladder with 9. It's not a massive amount, but it's not bad for little old Iceland up here. Drunk little Scandinavian island. Well, you're not as drunk as Finland, but Finland isn't around right now. And there's Norway. We'll see how that plays out. Might as well keep nice with our brothers. Brother Denmark, sister Sweden. We don't have the diplomatic points to do that. Alright. Take a look at the newspaper. We're between the Russian Empire and Bukhara. Fantastic for Bukhara. Good luck. Looks like the war's over. And ad hoc bill printing is done. So let's take a look at something else. Private bank money bill printing. Alright. Now we'll take it to the end of 43. And I will finish the video for today. I think I'm going to be uploading these one video per in-game year, starting with this first introductory video. As you can see, the odd thing is every month is on a 31-day calendar, so it's a little extended year. But thanks for watching, and see you next time.